Hello, good Yor, good Erev, Rosh Hashanah. We have today some learning from Purkey Avos of Rabenu Yona. So let's take a look at some of it. Let's see. Asara Doros Me'adam Biad Noach Laudia Kama Erech Apayim Lefonov. There were 10 generations from Adam to Noach. This teaches you how slow God is to anger. Laudia Kama Erech Apayim Lefonov. Shekol HaDoros Hoyu Machisin Avoyin Ad Shehevi Alehem Esmei HaMabul. For all these generations continued to anger God until he brought the floodwaters upon them. The Rabenu Yona will explain some of this. Uvo'ein ad shekol hadoros hayu machisin uvo'in. All of the generations were continuously angering Hashem until ad shehevi alehem esmei hamabel, until Hashem brought upon them the waters of the mabel, of the flood. Asara doros me Noach biad Avraham lahodia kama erech apayim lefonov. There were 10 generations from Noach to Abraham to teach you how slow he is to anger. Shekol hadoros hoyu machisin avoyin ad shebo Avraham bekibel olav sechar kulam. So for each of these generations continued to anger God until Avraham Avinu came and received the reward of all of them. Let's see what the Rabenu Yona says. Asara doros me'adam vi'ad Noach laudia kama erech apayim lefonav. There were 10 generations from Adam until Noach, to show you how patient Hashem is, how much patience he has. Shekol hadoros, all of the generations, hoyu machisin lefonav ad shebo aleihem me'am mabul. All of the generations were angering Hashem until he brought the waters of the mabul, the waters of the flood. Uvod alamdenu ki kasher ata roeh badoros shebein Adam harishon leNoach shekulam hechisuhu b'maaseh yedehem l'ra lohem. This Mishnah teaches an important lesson. There were 10 long generations between Adam and Noach, and they all angered God with their wicked deeds. God stayed his anger for all those generations until he finally punished them with the flood. When the time came, God's retribution came. He did not withhold his anger forever. So his anger, he has a lot of patience, but it's not forever. At that point, he brought the flood. L'sov hevi alehem esmei hamabul. Kilo liolam ma'arichapo, because Hashem does not hold his anger forever. At a certain point, if unfortunately punishment has to be meted out, so he does not have. It's so he does it al pi midas hadin, for judgment, for the right judgment's sake. Kain tachashov b'galosenu. The same thing we can think in our golos al yedei haromim, in our present diaspora. Ulaval tomar, you shouldn't say kama yomim v'shonim ki heishiv chamaso me'al malchus harishah v'anachnu b'golos. We shouldn't say that. When will the time come when Hashem will help us out, and we were still in Golos, and let's see what it says here. And where is God's punishment for those who oppressed us? You should not say, it has been so very long, so many days, and so many years, that God has withheld his anger from the wicked kingdom, and we still languish in exile. Perhaps he will withhold his anger from them forever, since he is slow to anger. So what's the answer to that? You must know for a fact that the time will come when he will punish them for their actions and repay them for all their evil deeds. He will redeem us and save us, even though his anger is slow in coming. At the end of days, he will recall all their sins from the very beginning. May his mercy come to us soon, for we are suffering greatly. Let's see what it says in the Ivrit, in the Hebrew. We can think also in our current diaspora, where we are in Golos, we are in exile, al yedei haramim. Olaval Tomar, you shouldn't say Kama Yomim V'Shonim. Here, this is the bottom line. Kama Yomim V'Shonim. How many days and years Kiheshiv Chamasu, that he withheld his anger. Hashem withheld his anger from the people that oppressed the Yidden. Mi'al Malchus HaRishah, from the evil kingdom. V'anachnu begolos, we're still in Golos, we're still in exile, we're not in Eretz Yisrael with the Beis HaMikdash. Hali olam ya'arich lohem apo, ki erech apayim hu. Will Hashem always withhold withhold his wrath because he is so patient, because he is patient? Yadua teda, you should know, kilasof yishalim lohem kifalam, that in the end Hashem will pay them like what they did, according to their deeds, and according to the work of their hands. We go aleinu, and will redeem us, the Yidden. Yoshienu ki erech apayim gadol hu, because he indeed does have a lot. He is indeed eternally patient. Ach b'yachris hayamim, at the end of days, poked avonos rishonim umaher yikadmenu rachamecha kidalonu ma'od. You must know that for a fact that the time will come when he will punish them for their actions and repay them for all their evil deeds. He will redeem us and save us, even though his anger is slow in coming. At the end of days, he will recall all their sins from the very beginning. May his mercy come to us soon, for we are suffering greatly. So there's a note for that. Maybe we'll check that out later. It's note number 5. At the end of the chapter, at the end of the parak, they have notes that can be looked at. Asara doros mi Noach v'yad Avraham. They were here. That's right over here. Asara doros mi Noach v'yad Avraham. There were 10 generations from Noach to Avraham, to Abraham. V'amru Rabbeinu, the rabbis said, or the Rebbe said, Kishemeis Noach Hoya Avraham Avinu ben Nun Ches Shonim, that when Noach died, Avraham Avinu was 58 years old. So in other words, why do you say that there were 10 generations? Avraham Avinu was alive. He was 58 when Noach passed away. Ach kishetimne hatolodos timtze asara doros beinehen. Ki af al pi shenoach ha'erech yamim asara doros hem nechshavim. So that's a good question. If he was 58, so it's not really. It seems like it's not the 10 generations. So let's see. It says here, despite this count of the intervening generations, shows that there are 10 generations between them. Even though Noach lived an extremely long life and was still alive during Avraham's time, it is nevertheless considered that he and Avraham were 10 generations apart. In other words, there were 10 various generations they might have overlapped a little, but we can consider them from different generations. So it's considered that he and Avraham were 10 generations apart. And then there's some more on the generations from Noach to Avraham. Lahodia kama erech apayim lefanov shekol hadoros hayu machisin uvoin hayu machisin ad shebo Avraham Avinu. To teach you how slow he is to anger, how slow Hashem is to anger. For each of those generations continued to anger God until Avraham Avinu came. Avraham our father came. Okay, so let's see this. V'lo amar bekan ad shenifra mehen. And it doesn't say over here by Avraham Avinu until Hashem, unlike the Mishnah's description of Noach's generation, it does not say here that God punished these 10 wicked generations. Over there by Noach it says until Hashem brought the Mei HaMabul, the waters of the Mabul. Over here it doesn't say that those 10 generations were punished. So why is that? Why is it? So let's hear the answer. V'lo amar bekan ad shenifra mehen. Ki Avraham Avinu malei kol hachesronos v'asa tovos keneged kol ra'asam. Because Avraham Avinu, he filled up all of the different things that were missing. In other words, there was chesed, there was loving kindness that was missing. Avraham fulfilled that need. He did v'asa tovos keneged kol ra'asam. He did good deeds. He did good things compared with all of their wickedness. V'yatzilam min ha'paranos. And then he therefore saved them from Avraham Avinu saved the wicked generations from paranos, from punishment. Noach lo haya yachol lahatzilam. Noach was not able to save them. Ki lo haya tzadik kol kach lemalei hachesronos. Noach was not able to save the generations from Adam until Noach, because he was not such a great tzaddik. He was not such a great righteous person. Avraham Avinu did save the other people from punishment, because he was able to somehow, he was such a great man, a good man, that he did good. Keneged ra'asam. He did good compared to their evil, and he was able to make up for it. So therefore it doesn't say that they were punished, but it says the Ad Sheba Avraham Avinu let's see. Kam erech apayim. Oh yeah. So shekol hadoros hayu machisin avoin ad sheba Avraham v'kibel olav schar kulam. Until Avraham Avinu came and he received all of their reward. All of the reward. But it doesn't say that they were punished. He received all of their reward. In other words, he was able to make up for all of the evil that they did in the eyes of Hashem. V'zeu shenemar, this is what it says. V'zeu shenemar, this is what it says. Tehillim kuf yud tes, kuf chavav, and Tehillim, that's 119 and 121. Eis lahasos laHashem, hey פירוש תורתך. Oh, we missed something here. He took all of their reward. Even though every person has a portion in Gan Eden, a portion in paradise, and a portion in Gehenna. Im Yizke Yitol Chelko Began Eden. If he is Zolche, if he's merits, he can take his portion in Gan Eden. Im Nischayev Bedino Yitlanu Beganim. If he's Rachmana Letzlan Chas V'Shalom Chayev, if he's found guilty, Bedino Yitlanu Beganim, he goes to Gehenna for a certain amount of time, I'm not sure. So in other words, he wants to know, the question is, why, how can Avraham Avinu take all of the schar, all of these other people's schar too, also? That's the question. So this is the answer, that since all of them were commanded to do good, and they didn't do good, and the good person does what he has to do, and also he does even extra for the other person too. In other words, he's being mekayim his own mitzvos, and he's doing even extra. He's doing the other person, like it says, Avraham Avinu was mimalei tova. Avraham Avinu did good, which filled up all of the chesronos, all of the lack of good that the other people did. He did good. He filled it up, so that he made up for all of it, or for much of it. So he was doing his own mitzvos and the mitzvos of the other people. Everyone is commanded to do good. Then they don't do it. And the friend of Avraham Avinu, or the good person, the tzaddik, is mekayim tzivuyov. He fulfills his mitzvos, v'tzivuyei atzmo, and v'tzivuyei atzmo, and his own. What he has to do, and also he's doing what they have to do also. He's doing good for them. What they aren't doing, he's doing good to make up for what they're not doing, or he's striving to do so. Midas adin nosenes she'ito chelko v'chelak chaveru began Eden. So the midas adin, the attribute of din, of justice, it's imparts that he should take chelko, his own portion of Gan Eden, v'chelak chaveru began Eden, the portion, his friend's portion that he didn't do. He didn't do the mitzvos, so he takes his chelik and the chelik of the friend. So this is how Avraham Avinu was able to take the schar, the reward of everyone. This is what it says. It says, Tehillim Kuf Yates Kuf Chavav, Eis La'asos La'Hashem Heifiru Torasecha. Let's see what it says in the English. We see this in the simple meaning of the verse. Quote, it is time to act for God. Means it is time to act for the sake of God. Eis La'asos La'Hashem Heifiru Torasecha. They have desecrated your Torah. It's a time to act for God. Here, this is where it is. It is a time to act for God. They have desecrated your Torah. If you see a generation in which Torah is getting weaker, busy yourself with it, then you should busy yourself with the Torah. We see this in the simple meaning of the verse. It is time to act for God. Means it is time to act for the sake of God. When it says that it's time to act for God, it means that it's time to act eis la'asos la'Hashem. It's time to do for Hashem. So that means it is time to act for the sake of God. We find a similar usage in the verse, say about me that I am your brother. Avraham Avinu said to Sarah that she should say about him that he is her brother, so that the king should not kill him, God forbid. It says, Imri li, ochi hu, you say li to me. So it means Imri li, say about me, when it says Imri li. So over here it says, Eis la'asos la'Hashem. It is the time to do for Hashem, Heifiru Torasecha. They have desecrated your Torah. Imra Isa Dor Shemis Rachel Mina Torah. If you see a Dor, a generation, that is becoming weak in the Torah, God forbid, that's lax in the Torah, or Sukbo, you should occupy yourself in it. You should do what you can. You learn yourself. You can teach your chaver, your friend, Asukbo. You should double down and occupy yourself in it. Imro Isa Dor Shemis Rachel Min Torah. If you see a generation Shemis Rachel Min Torah that becomes weaker in the Torah, Sukbo, you should occupy yourself in it. Upeshate Dekra, the simple part of the pasuk is Eis la'asos b'shvil Hashem. It says Eis la'asos Hashem. It's time to do to God. So it means Eis la'asos b'shvil Hashem. It's the time to do for God, for Hashem. V'domelo, and you see a similar usage of phraseology in Bereshis Chaf Yud Gimel. Imri li ochi hu. Hashem in Bereshis. Avraham Avinu said to Sarah, say, it's Imri li, say, we would think it's Imri li, say to me, but it's Imri li, say about me, say about me. Imri li ochi hu. Say about me. In other words, so it says, Eis la'asos Hashem. Time to do for Hashem. So Avraham Avinu said, Imri li, say about me. Ochi hu, he is my brother. So that's the usage there. Kemo bishvili. In other words, bishvili, about me. Say for me, say for me. It is time to act for this sake of God. We find a similar usage in the verse, say about me that I am your brother, which means for my sake. Say for my sake that I am your brother. So that means it is a time to act for God. They have desecrated your Torah. In a generation of wholesale abandonment of Torah study, it is more crucial than ever to act for the sake of God in order to ensure that Torah not be forgotten from Israel, God forbid. So we see what that means. If we see that everybody, God forbid, is wholesale abandonment of Torah study, so it's very important on us to act for the sake of Hashem, in order that Torah may not be forgotten from Israel, God forbid. We may compare this to a king whose servants all rebelled against him, with one lone exception. During those difficult days of mass betrayal, the one remaining servant must demonstrate extraordinary levels of loyalty and love. In return for the rest of the king's life, his love for this faithful servant will be enormous, and he will lavish him with richer reward than any other servant receives. This is a comparison. This is a mashal. So here, this is what he learns, the Rabenu Yona. Achar shekulam mefirin Talmud Torah. If everybody is staying away from Talmud Torah, from learning of Torah, yoter yesh lecha la'asos b'shvil Hashem mishar hadorah. So then we have to do for Hashem more than other generations, because in the other generations they were learning much more Torah. If, let's say, well, now we're learning, we see that there's a lot of learning of Torah now, thank God, Baruch Hashem. But anyway, if we see that people are turning away from the study of Torah, Yoter yesh lecha lasos b'shvil Hashem, mishar hadoros, from the other generations, that shechas v'shol. Let's see what it says about the other generations. If in a generation of wholesale abandonment of Torah study it is more crucial than ever to act for the sake of God, in order to ensure that Torah not be forgotten from Israel, God forbid. We may, so that we have to do and study and teach whatever we can, even to be an example, to show that this is what somebody that learns Torah, he acts the right way, and this will make people want to study Torah. Shechas v'shalom, lo tishtakach Torah miYisrael, that God forbid Torah should not be forgotten from Yisrael. Moshel lemelech shekol avodav bogdim bo chutz mi'echod shebohem. Moshel, the example is a king. All of his servants are rebelling against him, except for mi'echod shebohem, one of them, one very loyal servant. Halo b'yosos man tzarich laleches imo be'emes u'v'lev of shalem mishar hazmanim. In that way, in that time, this servant has to go with him in truth and in full heart, with tameimus, with mishar hazmanim. So even more than at other times, one has to show that one is trying to do good for Hashem, to strengthen the study of Torah. V'gam ki kol yomav yehavenu hamelech ahavo rabbo. V'gam ki kol yomav. So then, for the whole rest of that king's life, this king will love this servant, ahavo rabbo. V'terev miseis, v'terev masas zeh mimaseis kulam. In return, for the rest of this king's life, his love for this faithful servant will be enormous, and he will lavish him with richer reward than any other servant receives. So kal v'chomer, so a priori that Hashem, who is forever, who will be forever, how much more such schar and the reward will he give to those who are faithful to him, and they learn his Torah and they teach his Torah. They try to do what they can to support the Torah learning, to learn the Torah of Hashem, so that it should not be nishtachach miYisrael. It shouldn't be mishtakoch miYisrael. It shouldn't be forgotten from Israel, God forbid. Let's see what the word is. So anyway, shechas v'shalom lo, here we are, shechas v'shalom lo tishtakach Torah miYisrael. Here we on this line over here is that it shouldn't be forgotten from Israel, God forbid. That we should have to strengthen it, that the Torah is continued to be learned. So this is Purkei Avos of Rabenu Yona with the English translation. It's called Hachseik, Daily Musar Impact. They can be learned every day. We can learn some of this. It has the Hebrew and the English. So this is very good. And this is Purkei Avos with Rabenu Yona. And it has the Hebrew and English. Achseik, Daily Musar Impact. So you can look it up. Let's see where we can look it up. This is 1 minute. Learn Purkei Avos like never before. Join Hachseik for Purkei Avos with Rabenu Yona alongside world-class Magidei Shiurim. You can learn it with these various rabbis. So here it is, hachzeik.com, here, right over here, hachzeik.com, gmail.com. And you can get one of these svarim to learn it with them. Okay, Yeshikayach, and Kol Tov, and I got the Yol, and a Mazel Dik. Thank you so much. I got your. So remember, Hachseik, Perky Avos of Rabbeinu Yona with Hachseik. Kol Tov.